guys, this is Sally and Austin with Disabled Advantage. We're doing our first walk video for the first time in a few weeks. I rolled my ankle and haven't been able to walk, so this is the first time. I did a few walks about a week ago, but they were all really painful. I only did them because I didn't have access to Austin's treadmill for a little bit. But I've been resting a lot, and hopefully this walk is going to go well. It's either going to be a loose lead walk, so you get to see that, or you might get to see Austin doing some counterbalance. I really don't know yet. So we're just going to see how it goes. Okay. Release. Good boy. Stop. Good. Let's go. Release. Okay, so I guess the first thing is, what did I do? Well, about 3 weeks ago, just about 2 weeks ago. Okay, 2 weeks ago, I was walking in my yard, and over the years, my way of adapting to living with CRPS means that I have picked up some tips and tricks and habits for myself to minimize repetitive movement. Repetitive movement is one of my known triggers, and it's one that easily goes missed by a lot of people. It took me a long time to figure out how many times in a day I move my arms, move my legs, etc. And that all of those little movements were actually racking up into big pain flares for myself. So typically what I do when I move through my yard is I take the shortest path possible. So unless I'm training Austin, I don't intentionally, walk wide curves and stuff like that. I try to take shorter paths around our house and through our yard. Stop. Good boy. And okay, asphalt's fine for Austin. What a fun noise. Okay, let's go. Okay, so Austin is not in a command right now. This is what Austin's loose leash walk looks like. This is what I trained him to do. This took about 45 days to teach Austin. Working on it every single day when we first adopted him. But this nice refined version where he's just choosing to stay roughly in the heel position developed over an even longer amount of time. And today it's entirely possible that he's choosing to put himself here because he does that when I'm injured. If he suspects that I'm a little bit off, he stays closer to me to be more prepared to do his job. If you were going to train a pet dog how to walk on leash, this is where I would recommend your goal be. Not necessarily the completely slack leash, because you want to have some hold on the leash so that you're able to be prepared for the unexpected. There's very little that could happen out here, and also I'm very adept at very quickly reaching down and pulling up the slack in my line. But most owners, I do recommend you keep a hand on the leash and give your dog about that much leash, you know, enough that they can kind of sniff stuff, but not enough that they can get in trouble. But this is sort of where they should stay. So if you imagined a semicircle from your leg around behind yourself, you would want your dog to stay in that semicircle. Maybe they go a little out to the side, maybe they go slightly forward, slightly behind, but there's not tension on the leash. They're not pulling out ahead of you. They're not behind you. They're not crossing in front of you. So pet heel, this would be what I would consider ideal pet heeling. If I look straight up, my peripheral vision lets me see Austin out of the corner of my eye without me having to dip my head down. And because I can see his head, I know where his attention is, and he's in the right spot. Even if I were holding on to the leash, he wouldn't be pulling on the leash. So that's a good spot. So that's something to test out at home for yourself as well. Be walking around and like try it out. Try it out in your yard first. Or like up and down the hallway, but try walking forward and seeing where you need to like fully bend your head to see what your dog is doing versus where you're able to hold your head up and just kind of tilt your head slightly or flick your eyes down and see what your dog's doing. And go around these overgrown bushes a little bit more. So he's getting a little snappy around all the bugs, which we try to discourage because it can turn into him spinning around and slapping into me, which is dangerous. And also, if anybody was going to eat a bee, it would be this fool. So we try and limit that where we can. But anyways, my habits. So we have a small drainage ditch underneath a hydrant in our yard, and it's only about 2 or 3 inches deep, but the grass covers it really well. And I know where it is. When I come from our front yard to fill up the bunny's water bottle or Austin's bucket, I know where it is. I'm very careful about how I step. And I like even go to the point of looking at my feet and watching my feet while I walk up to it and walk over it. Good boy. And okay, so I'm drawing up my slack right now, not because he's doing anything wrong, but just because there's so many overgrown weeds on the side of the road here that could pose a potential threat to Austin, like grass heads and possibly some foxtails somewhere in there. So I'm just drawing up the slack so that I can keep him a little further away from that grass, but my hold on the leash is very, very light. It's mostly just there so I can help guide him away from all the sniffing, the temptating plants that could pose a harm to him. So we have this drainage ditch, and I was getting ready for teaching a client, and I came around the side of the house, and I was already a little tired. I hadn't even taught yet, but I was already a little tired because it was really hot and it was really humid. So I was doing what was safest for the CRPS and taking the fastest route possible. Fastest route possible means walking over that drainage ditch. But I couldn't see where it was, and I wasn't paying attention to where it was. I was wearing sneakers, and I stepped on the edge of it and rolled my ankle into the drainage ditch. I didn't fall down. My balance stayed intact, and all my muscles work together to keep me upright. Austin did not help with that incident because he was about 6 feet behind me. He was on free time. I wasn't expecting anything to go wrong. I don't just constantly have him beside me. I don't constantly have him doing counterbalance, because constantly holding on to his harness can trigger flares all by itself. So I really only hold on to his harness when I'm actually having active problems walking. But it didn't fall, so that was good. And it hurt a lot, and it was shaking. But then I kind of forgot it happened and went on to teach my client, which involved a lot of demonstrations and walking and getting up and sitting down and getting up and sitting down. But, by the end of it, it hurt a lot. And by the next day, it hurt a lot. And we kept an eye on it, but we learned a long time, there's really no point in getting frantic over stuff. Car passing. At least not for myself. So, because I have full body CRPS, it's really hard to tell when something is a bad flare and when something is a true injury. On top of that, I live with a genetic disorder called trisomy X syndrome or triple X syndrome. I am very cool. I have 3 X chromosomes instead of the normal 2. And what this does for me is almost nothing, except for I'm a little bit hypermobile. So, he wants to go to the lake, but I need to stay on the blacktop because it's nice flat ground. It's easier for me to walk on while I'm recovering from an injury than gravel is. So I'm not as hypermobile as a lot of people who know what that is might think, but I'm enough that on a regular basis, I'll move a little funny, and a tendon or a ligament or a muscle will roll over itself or its neighbor and then go back to its normal position. And those also cause their own type of flare. We think they wouldn't normally, but because the CRPS is hanging around blowing off fireworks when something weird happens, I get what we call triple X flares. So anytime something happens to me, that is a huge dandelion. Good grief. So big. Sorry. Easily distracted. I haven't been outside on a walk in like a week and a half. So, anytime something happens to me, we genuinely don't know if it's a triple X flare, CRPS, or an injury. So, I am in no means saying that this should be your method, okay? This is something that me and my husband made a decision on a long time ago. And we got the approval of our doctor. We actually wait 2 weeks before we tell anyone that I'm hurt. So, like, if an injury lasts for 2 weeks or is exceptionally severe, like last year's knee injury, then we go to my doctor and say, hey, this happened. We're definitely 90% sure it's not just the CRPS. What should we do next? A lot of people, their instinct would be, oh, I fell, oh, I rolled my ankle, I should immediately seek help. And we don't. Also because, in our opinion, it's a waste of money. Again, my personal opinion. Not telling anybody how to feel or act. But our personal opinion is that it's a waste of money. All they're going to do is take an x-ray, say, hey, it's a sprain, wrap it, ice it, elevate it, go home. And we already have that information. We already have that stuff. We could save the nearly $100 that would all accumulate to and just do it ourselves. So that's normally what we do. Last year we knew my knee tendon was something different because after 4 days I couldn't stand on my leg at all. Like, it was exceptionally terrible. And I know I've been doing this for a long time. I know what my bad pain days feel like, and I know what wrong feels like. I don't always know what wrong feels like. If it's, I'm always a little worried that like my appendix is going to burst or I'm going to have heart problems and just not notice. But as far as my limbs go, I've got a pretty good handle on what's normal and what's not normal. Stop. Okay, so I'm not really having trouble walking, but I'm not limping, but I'm having a little trouble with this hill, so I'm putting on Austin's counterbalance wobble strap. When he's in loose leash, let's go. He can get a little bit ahead of me, hopefully. And if I wobble too far to one side, that strap will help prevent me from going over. And I can also hold on to it while we're walking. But he seems to think, okay, stop. So we've got a little bit of intelligent disobedience going on right now. He won't leave heel, which probably means I need to be holding on to his counterbalance strap instead. So, yep, that's what he wanted me to do. Okay. Okay, so we've switched to a counterbalance walk. The rules here, when he's in public, he's in like full work mode. This is kind of quasi work mode. He can sort of sniff things as he passes by, but he's not allowed to dip his head all the way to the ground and smell, because that will pull on the harness, which will pull on me and throw me off balance. And he also has to stay pretty much in this exact right position. If he starts moving too fast and pulling me, leave it. Sad little dead bird. Then he gets a correction because he's going too fast. But like I said, I think he can tell that I'm not quite right today. I'm starting to get a little increase in pain in my ankle. And I trust my dogs. They usually do pick up on that stuff faster than I do, because I just get in my head. Right, injuries. So, like last year with my knee tendon, I know my limbs really well, and I've sprained my ankles and my knees multiple times over the years with CRPS. I know what that feels like. And what happened last summer did not feel like that. And sure enough, that was a really bad injury. So sometimes we break the rule, but in general, it's not like, oh my goodness, you fell, let's go to the ER. We don't have a ton of money. That's just not a choice for us. So I've been trying to rest, which is hard because I love being outside and I love walking Austin. I love moving. I've been wearing an ankle brace in the house for today's walk. I'll show them to you guys whenever we get back to the house, because they're a little hard to show while I'm walking. We're at a dangerous part in the road right now. we're crossing up a hill, and it's a complete blind spot. So people coming up the road don't know I'm here, and I don't know who's on the other side of the road. Okay, Austin, go. So he got a correction just now for sniffing. When he does counterbalance walks, I hold on to his counterbalance strap and also a little bit of my leash, so that if he needs a speed correction or a correction for trying to sniff stuff, or if something unexpected happens like a stray dog or a car or, I don't know, a lot of traffic suddenly appears, I can easily drop the counterbalance and just hold on to the leash. Austin was right. I am starting to wobble side to side a little bit more. While I'm holding on to this strap, every time I step down with my right foot, which is currently my injured foot, I start to fall a little bit to the right. And so it pulls up on the strap, and he leans into his harness and keeps moving forward. And that pressure helps recenter my balance and not fall over. He's also preventing me from falling over backwards, and by holding on to him consistently, he is helping me consistently move forward. Oftentimes, if I stop on a walk, my pain gets substantially worse. And so it's always better, it's generally better for me to keep moving. So we've passed the 2-week mark. My ankle still kind of hurts. We're fairly confident it's a sprain and that the upper part of my leg is just really tired. So I've been bracing it a lot, but I'm bracing and resting. We have a treadmill Austin can run on, so that's what he's been running on twice a day. I'm teaching clients this weekend, and it's going to be really hot outside. So even though my ankle isn't done healing yet, I need to do a little bit of heat conditioning for me and Austin this week, since we've been spending so much time in the air conditioning. And so that's what I'm doing right now. Walking him is a little bit of heat conditioning and an exercise for both of us, and also testing out how my ankle's doing. I'm not wearing an ankle brace right now. I'm wearing combat boots, and I'll show these to you close up in a sec. They are very intense lace-up boots that the CRPS does not like because of how tightly they squeeze my foot and ankle, and they're very difficult for me to lace up some days. Some days I get XXX flares in my fingers or my wrist just from lacing them up. But they act like ankle braces for walking on gravel or other uneven terrain. And today I walked on the blacktop. We don't have sidewalks where we live. Walked on the blacktop so that I'd be walking on flat ground. Flat ground is easier for me to recover on than jumping right into gravel, because the gravel, this isn't too bad right now, but that was bad. Okay, so I just stepped on a slightly bigger rock, and the sprained ankle tried to roll inwards, which is really bad. That now hurts. I got an immediate spike in pain from that, but that ankle is weak. If I hadn't been holding on to Austin, I might have fallen down or stumbled worse. Because I was holding on to him, he helped me ride out that accident. It's just unfortunate because my ankle was doing like, it was only slightly annoyed from that walk, and then I stepped on that bigger rock and my foot rolled underneath me towards the inside because I'm extra special, and pain jumped up higher than it would have had I not stepped on that rock. So that's life with CRPS, and life in the country right there. Austin Star, good boy. boy. Gravel can sometimes be like trying to walk on marbles. Very hard to walk on sometimes, especially when you have balance issues. Whew. Good boy, Austin. Stop. Good, stop. Okay, so these are the boots I'm wearing. You can see they go up pretty high, and all of that is lace up. So the compression hurts, but it helps protect from injury. Okay. Austin, release. Okay. So, Austin's thirsty. I'm thirsty. Let's get you some water, buddy. Austin, take. Take. Good. Let's go. Good. He is very happy carrying his bucket. Please don't run into the rabbits. Austin, take. Good. Let's go. Good. Give. Thank you. Good job, buddy. Back. So this is that ditch I was talking about. This is what I rolled my ankle in. Barely noticeable, but very dangerous nonetheless. Oh no, there's crap in your bucket. I have to start over. Sorry. I know, I was excited too. He's a weird kid. Right, enough. Good. Okay, let's go. Let you go first. The bunnies are back on their bunny shelves, like little bread loaves with spots. So that is a loose leash walk mixed with some counterbalance work and me inciting an extra pain flare. Always a fun time. I'm really glad we took the walk. I was doing mostly good until that rock. It's unfortunate, but it's okay. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. If you have any questions about how else I determine injuries or what we do for injuries, leave a comment. I'll do my best to answer it. I'm not sure. I can't promise you guys as many walk videos as I possibly can, just because we're rapidly reaching where we are really hot, humid days. And also injury recovery for me is slow. It usually does take me about 3 to 4 weeks to fully recover from a sprain. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But thank you for watching and following, and please subscribe for more videos.